Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? Welcome back to the Affiliate Party Podcast. This is episode 96. My name is Tony Rizano. I'm coming to you live. I haven't said this in a long time. We are coming to you live from the mean streets of Tennessee. Okay? Tennessee, we're playing your song. Come to Tennessee. How many of you ever been to Tennessee? Tennessee's not bad. Tennessee's not a bad place. I kind of like it. But anyway, how was your weekend? What did you do? Yesterday, I'm going to tell you a quick story. Yesterday, I took the Greyhound. Had to go do something for the job. So they said, I had to go from Atlanta to Charlotte. They needed something. They needed the truck recovered. So I went to Charlotte, picked up a truck, caught the Greyhound. It was 4 hours of my life that I was like, wow. It's been a while since I took the Greyhound, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to do this again. Never again. No. And I was like, man, I can't wait to, I can't wait to just be at home every day, doing the entrepreneur thing all the time, because I was like, this is ridiculous. But anyway, my favorite part of the trip yesterday was a guy. Well, first off, our bus driver, he was not a friendly fellow. He was very efficient with his driving, but his people skills were slacking a lot. But anyway, we had a guy that was he had a wheelchair and he had a walker, so he said he couldn't move, but then he got on the bus, so he was just a little slow in his movement. But he yelled at the bus driver that he had to pee, and the bus driver said, "Sir, I told you before we got started, this is the one way, we're not stopping, so you have to go to the bathroom in the back." He said, "I can't fit back there." And he said, "Sir, you have a walker, and we had handles back there. You could just grab onto the handle or whatever, then you can go use the bathroom, handle your business." And the guy said, "Hey, I'm going to piss on the floor if you don't stop." And the guy said, "Sir, if you piss on the floor, then everybody's going to have to get off and we're going to have to clean it. It's going to be a long process, so you're not going to do that." And so the guy got up, he went to the bathroom or whatever, and he came back. And it was a young lady. She'd been quiet the whole time. And this guy, he started complaining about the bus driver, and she told him to shut, and I quote, she said, "Shut the fuck up." It wasn't like, she and then she screamed for like 3 minutes about how he was a piece of shit, how he was no good, he was the MF this, the MF that. I mean, I recorded a good 30 seconds of it, but I wish I could play it for you. But it was quite entertaining. I was like, wow. I remember the days I used to catch the bus a lot. I went from California to Missouri once on a bus. Man, I tell you. But the bus is cool because it's all kind of people that you can see, Like I met one guy, he was like, "Yeah, I'm just getting out of jail." I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Oh, I'm just going to do some work." I didn't tell anybody I was a professional broadcaster, but I was trying to listen to stuff and think about, the podcast for the week. But anyway, today we're going to talk about calculated risk. Well, I shouldn't even say risk, but just things that sometimes that you want to study up a little bit. You sort of see the future and predict it, and it'll work for you. And what I mean is, I remember a couple weeks ago I listened to this podcast called Business Wars. And Business Wars, they was doing a thing about wine. They was doing things about the Gallo brothers. I don't know if you know anything about them. I don't know too much about them myself. I just know they make wine or whatever. But I didn't know anything about their story. But it was during the World War II, and one of the brothers, he bought grapes, he locked in the price of grapes for a low price one year. So they had a lot of grapes. And he told his brother, he said, "Hey, I bought a lot of grapes, and people are gonna come back from the war, and they're gonna want to drink a lot of wine, and we're gonna sell these grapes at a high price to our competitors. And then he said the wine business will fall out." He said, eventually people will come home, they will stop celebrating, and wine's gonna go bust, and we'll buy our products back at a cheap price. He said we'll make money and we'll still have our product back. He said it's a win-win. So he took a risk. Well, I'm not gonna say risk, but he calculated. It was a calculated risk, and the risk paid off because he wound up buying a lot of his stuff back, and they made a lot of money, and he was able to move on and do different things in his business. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this is every now and then, like I told you before, be yourself, be original. When you're doing it, when you're in business, everything can't be cookie cutter. You know what I mean? Everything can't be. Sometimes you have to take a risk. Like if you want to double your income, sometimes you have to just, instead of trying to do 6 things, focus on one thing and get that thing going for like a month, and then that way you could take that money and funnel it into other products, into other adventures. Everything is not gonna like sometimes you have to take risks, and the Gallows Brothers just one example of a calculated risk. You know what I mean? Like I remember I've listened to, the Steve Jobs book, the Walt Disney book. All these people took some kind of risk at some point in their business to double sales or triple sales or to make one great movie. Because for Walt Disney, he was like, if I make a one great movie, then I know I'm gonna get business and more business. And then of course he made like Fantasia or something like that. He made one movie that just got a lot of accolades, and then his company, the Walt Disney, production studio, just took off, after that. And I remember like Steve Jobs, like they took a risk on the first computer and it paid off, the second computer. But I remember, he took another risk and it flopped. But it's sometimes sometimes you have to do measured risk, Like, I mean, of course you don't want to fly by the seat. When you don't want to fly by the seat of your pants all the time, because that's not a. I mean, it might work sometimes. But a lot of times you'll crash and burn trying to just fly by the seat of your pants. As I say a lot, trust me. I know. Okay, you want to, you don't want to overstudy, but you want to study up. You want to study up on something, and then go for it. It's just like I was talking to my brother about the stock market. Everybody wants to be in the stock market when it's high. When the stock market is high, everybody, hey, we making money. Oh, we making money. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Everybody's a stockbroker. Everybody's a stockbroker. Then when it crashes, nobody's a stockbroker. But you have people like Sir John Templeton, who was a guy that they had like 2 crashes back in the day, back in the 20s, the 30s, 40s, or whatever. And this guy, he profited off the crashes because he would buy low and he would sell high. Once people got back on their feet and everybody was like, yeah, let's get back into the stock market, he would sell to them. And he would make, he made a boatload of money. So that's what I mean. That's what I say when I say calculated risk. Like this guy knew. It's like everybody knows the stock market goes up and down, up and down, up and down. It just, you have to study it up. You have to learn the trends, follow the trends. Of course, some stocks you're gonna hold, some you ain't. It just depends. Like I was talking to my brother, and he wanted to use some kind of app called Stash or something like that. And because he's a big wrestling fan, as as I've talked about before. I used to be. My brother, he still watches, he enjoys it. And I told him, I said, well, I said, from the couple books I read about the stock market, I said, you should invest in stuff that you like, stuff that you know. So I said, why don't you just start off with a wrestling stock? And he was like, nah, I'm not doing that. He's like, somebody just sold a lot of their stock. I said, that don't mean anything. They do that for different reasons. And he was like, nah, that's okay. And so you see, my brother, now he wants to get in on the stock market, but he don't want to buy no low stock. But sometimes, it's like, why not? Because just like the WWE, I know one thing. They made a deal with Fox for like $2 billion to show Friday Night SmackDown on Fox. And it was like a $2 billion deal. And that day, they stock shot up like 20%, 30%, something like that. But if you own the stock that day, that'd be a good day to sell. You know what I mean? Like now, it's probably lower. It's probably kind of low with the whole coronavirus and everything. But now would be a good time to buy because once people start coming back in and people start buying tickets and everything, of course the stock is gonna probably go back up. You know what I mean? Like, so why wouldn't you try to buy? Don't don't ride the wave when the wave is at the highest point. Get in while the wave is coming. You know what I mean? Like, figure it out and then ride the wave into success. You know what I mean? Like, calculate the risk, take the risk though. And it'll pay off like the Gallows brothers. Like, it paid off for them, and they took that money and started making other drinks. Like, they took that money and started buying other materials. So it's like, if you kind of cash strapped in your business, which a lot of us start off and you kind of cash strapped, but if you can figure out a way that you can double some money for a month or two, then go for that, and then take that money and reinvest in your business. Like, always be looking to reinvest in your business. Always be looking to make more money so you can reinvest in your business. And then when you're starting off, you don't want to just, if you're making $5,000 a month, you don't want to just take $4,900 and spend it and then invest $100 a month back into your business. You want to take half, or 75% or whatever. Because once you get success, that's the key. Once you get success, then it'll just start snowballing. Trust me. So be like Ernest Gallo. Pull off a good coup. Study the risk. Don't fly by your seat of your pants. Do a little calculation. Try to time your market. Study your market a little bit. Now, you can't time it all the time, but every now and then, if you just know something's gonna work, then go for it. You know what I mean? But now we're gonna get to the another topic. But you know what we're gonna do first, everybody? We're gonna take a commercial break. You get to listen to Anchor, about the Anchor app, and how you can start a podcast, and you can be like your old pal. And of course, if you start a podcast, let me know. I'll listen to it. You know what I mean? I'll be part of your audience. I don't mind that. So yeah, but just remember, Ernest Gallo, he took a risk because they was strapped for cash. That's the main reason why he did it. They were strapped for cash, and they needed some cash, so he bought them. He locked it in for a low price, and then he, sold it to the people for a high price when the war was over with. And then of course, when the bottom fell out, he was able to buy back his product and still have money. So he took a chance and it paid off. Every chance you take ain't gonna pay off, but sometimes when they pay off, it's beautiful. But anyway, listen to the commercial and we'll be back. All right, welcome back. Now we're gonna talk about proofreading your stuff, proofreading your the things you write, the videos you do, the podcasts you record, anything. Every now and then, it's okay to proofread. It's okay to, take a few notes on yourself. Me, myself, I've never listened to the podcast after I record. I'm done. I upload. I do my stuff. I schedule it for the 8 a.m. in the morning whenever I get done with it, and that's it. So Friday, I told myself, I said I feel like I'm getting better with this podcast, but I said I want to be great. I said I want to be great. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna suck it up. I'm gonna listen to a couple podcasts, and I listened to a couple podcasts. I listened to 3 actually. One was the other 2, they were pretty good. It's a lot of things I can improve on. It's a lot of notes that I took in my head, that I wrote them down. One thing I learned, I move around too much, because when I was listening, I just heard I heard movement. You might not hear it, but I hear it. I just know it's there. So I was like, you know what? I gotta stand still from now on. I can't, because when I talk, I move my hands around a lot. I mean, of course you don't know this, but so when I talk, I move my hands around, but I'm holding the microphone at the same time, so it's kind of hard. And this microphone picks up a lot of stuff, so I'm going to apologize if if you hear a lot of noise sometimes. Sorry about that. We'll clean that up. And another thing, it's not as bad as it was, but it's a lot of ums and ahs, you know. I'm like, like, you know, a little too much of that. I don't like that. We got to clean that up. So we will work on that. We will work on the noise. And I heard myself hitting the counter or something one time, and I said, wow, this is quite a bit, very animated. But you know, I thought the energy was good. Got a lot of energy. And I thought the subjects that were pretty good. But, you know, overall I was like, it's kind of C+, B-. We're gonna get better. But it's okay to proofread, critique. Also, because I proofread articles that I write, and they say you should write an outline, write an article, and then come back the next morning and look at it before you post it, which I'm starting to think that's a pretty good idea, because it's been some nights, because a lot of times I get caught up in writing. It's like midnight, it's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and by the time 2 o'clock hits, 3 o'clock hits when you're writing, if you've been up all day and all night, your eyes start to get crossed, your mind gets loopy, and everything sounds good to you. So a lot of times I will upload it right then at 3 a.m. I go back the next day and be like, who the hell wrote this? So definitely proofread or edit your work when you have a clear mind and a clear, you know, a full night of sleep. Don't write and edit at 3 a.m. unless unless that works for you. Me myself, I be getting up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, so trying to be up at 3 still, that's a 22 hour, 23 hour day, and by the time that's about over with, I'm toast. So definitely proofread your stuff. I mean, you don't have to sit there and listen to every podcast you do or watch every video, but every now and then just go back and evaluate yourself, see what you think is wrong, see your strengths, see your weaknesses, see what you can improve on, because we don't want to be the Hall of Good. We want to be the Hall of Great. You know what I mean? We want to be in the Hall of Fame. We don't want to be in the Hall of Shame. So always be studying that stuff. And like I told you before, I listen to podcasts, I listen to audiobooks, I watch videos of different people just to see the mannerisms. I watch, like, you know, I've watched some of everything just to see how I can improve with talking, with the podcast, with the videos, with the writing. I've looked at quite a bit of stuff, you know. I've listened to people that's kind of entertaining. I'm like, how can I be more entertaining? You know, things of that nature. You know, you always want to be studying. You always want to be coming up with, you know, more stuff that you can do, more stuff you can get better at. So always be proofreading anything, you know, whether it's video, podcast, YouTube, you know, all that good stuff. All right, so that's all I wanted to say about that. So it's definitely strange. It's definitely strange when you hear yourself. It's definitely strange when you hear yourself. You know, like, I went back and watched a couple of videos that I made for the YouTube. And oh yeah, if you're on YouTube, check me out. Tony, of course, you know, last name Resonno, Resonno. Hit the subscribe button. Videos will be coming soon enough. Videos will be coming by, you know, in November. I told you I gotta figure out this. Things have been a little hectic, but I gotta get this this podcast feed on the YouTube so I can start, because I got 90. I mean, here I got 95 I got 95 podcasts, so that's 95 uploads on YouTube, you know. Of course, as you well know, the more content you put on YouTube, the more people eyeballs will see you. So that's how you gotta look at that. But anyway, don't be embarrassed when you shoot a video and you don't think it's good. Just keep going. Just upload it, and you'll be amazed. People will like you. Don't worry about it. You don't have to be polished, but you just want to get better at this kind of stuff. All right. So that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Remember, take some calculated risk. It's okay. And it's all right to critique yourself in the video every now and then. Just don't be too hard on yourself. Hell, most of us, we didn't start off being a Wolf Blitzer, you know what I mean? So it's all right. Anyway, my name is Tony Rizzano. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. We will talk to you tomorrow. You know, it's 1:30 in the morning. See how I love you people, okay? 1:30 in the morning, we out here filming podcasts. Eyes about to get crossed. But anyway, until Tuesday, enjoy the rest of your day. For the Affiliate Party Podcast, my name is Tony Rizzano, and we will talk to you down the road, tomorrow. All right? And as always, everybody, say it with me one time for the one time. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Everybody. We're going to say this together. We'll say 1, 2, 3, and then we'll all say peace, okay? 1, 2, 3. And as always, everybody, peace.